okay? And what we're now trying to do is come to the stage in the game where we aggregate it, yeah, where we literally pull out what we've heard and begin to benchmark with people about this is what we've heard, etc., etc. So that's how I would say to you, that's the genesis of the idea, that's what's been happening so far, and that's what got us here this morning.
Good, thank you very much. So we know how the whole idea was invented, and we have spent some time already to find out how we could transfer what we have learned from the food chain benchmark standard to a terminal benchmark standard. So the first idea was we give it the same name, quality indicator, it's a benchmark, and the benchmark should show to everybody in the outside how good, efficient, and effective the terminal really is. Yeah, this is really most the direct off. So we have prepared some slides for this, which I have shown also on the TOC in Hong Kong. So here you know, we can save that one. We have Pulex Maritime Services, Industrial Services. I'm responsible for this part here, certification worldwide. Background, like Kieran explained, shipyard carriers, terminal operator, and port authorities are all seeking a reliable standard for measuring the container terminal efficiency and performance. The answer could be the container terminal quality indicator, which now with this meeting here, with the kick-off meeting, is under construction. The proposed structure is a basic quality management system, very easy, like we have described this in the food chain standard as well. A very brief thing with the major things. We should have plus key performance indicators, telling us something more about the real performance with the systematic Mr. Demoni, Gustav developed over the last decades. We could use it here. Then we should have master tables for the benchmark point system. We could design these master tables to address certain risks for the performance of the terminal, for the connectivity of the terminal. So seeing the points coming out of there will automatically enable the terminal to see at the same time where to improve and how to improve in the most cost-efficient way, of course. Where to invest in the most cost-efficient way to come here to the 100 points. And the benchmarking, of course, is then there to show to the outside and to the inside how good the terminal really is, and what would be the benefit of further improvements. Well, we could do it in a way that we provide our know-how on standard building, on the application of management systems and of container shipping. We are the market leader for classification of container vessels. We are also having research. Dr. Baumgart is representing our strategic research arm here in GL, which is very strong. We are thinking about the best concept for container vessels to fit into the terminals just now, for example, and other things. So we could add all the knowledge which we have there. We of course should have the industry partners, exactly what Kieran just explained to us, to get the best terminals in the world around this table in order to find out what are the best processes. How is Yanxian, for example, designing his 260 processes in order to have 35 moves per hour on the average everywhere? How is it being done? How could it be built into the standard? How could we build in this know-how here? So we need this know-how, like we have done this in the Food Chain Association as well, to bring it into the standard. These are the potential partners. We have the terminals around the table here just now. For the logistic providers and distributors, it was too short of a notice for the first Hamburg committee now, but they should definitely be there the next time. We have freight forwarders, trucking companies, shipping clients, and as a driving force, Global Institute of Logistics and Commercial Lloyd. That could be the Hamburg committee. In are already these names which have been mentioned already by Kieran: PSA, Hutchinson, Hellman, the Global Institute, Gustav, and others which we might invite, which we might find suitable to invite to this table, of course. The goal is to measure and increase container terminal efficiency and, of course, connectivity, minimize delays and congestion, reduce costs, satisfy the customers, especially the customers of the shipping lines, which are your direct customers on the land side at least. By uniform statistical analysis, where Gustav could add a great deal to this, continuous improvement of container terminal operations and their interfaces, and of course by increasing the awareness. What we need for this is standardization in order to ensure that our terminals use the same calculation methods. So we know from Containerization International that they try to harmonize this, but they are not very effective. So they really do not know at the end how the moves are really being calculated. So we should have a simple method which is the same all over the world. We should have verified and certified certificates, for example, in order to enable the terminals to compare themselves with the others and to show to their customers how good they are. And we should, of course, have the best practices and equipment and hardware included. We need uniform KPIs for measuring the performance ship to shore, but also internal on the terminal, storage area, and at the landside interchange, gate operation, railhead operation, and so on. And we should use, for example, the total throughput per year for measuring the production, the moves per crane per hour for the productivity, everybody knows this, the berth occupancy, where there is a sophisticated formula by Gustav being developed, or the punctuality, where also Gustav has very good formulas which he could build into the standard. So ship-to-shore measures could be, for example, on the total throughput per year from 1st January to 31st of December, the TU. The productivity per crane is moves per gantry crane per hour. The equipment demand availability should be measured in percentage. The berth occupancy also. Vessel handled with an index time, also I think intellectual child of Gustav, is also a very nice figure to have. So here are some examples. Moves counted, every discharge movement should be in, every loading movement should be in, every shift times 1 if it is within the vessel, times 2 if it's shifted over the quay. Every container moved in error should be counted twice. Every hatch cover lifted and replaced should be counted. Not counted we should not count the lifts of lashing cages or lashing gear and equipment, crane movements along the quay or boom up, boom down routines, because this has nothing to do with the productivity in the vessel. This is a suggestion we can of course discuss. As far as gate measures are concerned, we have the gate throughput per year, vehicles handled within guaranteed time, and others we have not thought it out. These are all only samples, these are only suggestions. There's nothing ready for the standard, it's only the point to start with. Railhead measures could be railhead throughput in TU or block train punctuality. Storage measures could be average land usage, square meter per TU, or equipment demand availability, something like that. Then on top of this we would add the simple benchmark system and a conformance check. This means a check if all requirements of the standard are fulfilled. In front of you we have a first draft, a very rough thing, how such a standard could look like. And there are some general things in, like you should have best practices being identified. You should have, of course, the master tables with the benchmark system and internal audits and management review once a year in order to find out yourself where you are really standing. So we have two parts of such a standard, which is the container terminal quality conformance. This is mandatory practices, internal audits, management review, things like this. And we have the benchmarking by means of master tables. And if somebody is above a benchmark, which might be 70 points or 60 points, which you have to define within this committee, then in addition, the conformance check needs to be done. Policy must be there, mandatory practices must be there. Relevant personnel should be identified, which is important for the operation. Training topics should be there and identified. terminal efficiency manager should be identified who's responsible for running this standard. Then we have subcontract evaluation, if there is subcontracting at all. We should have addressment of claim non-conformity customer complaints. Of course, some small document control records, which we identify as in the standard. Audits management review, that all should be there. Mandatory practices could be a prediction of the terminal usage, which should be in place in order to find out that it is not overloaded. We should have some kind of long-term development prediction, medium-term traffic seasonality prediction, short-term occupancy planning in order to get reliable performance thereafter. The terminal efficiency manager should have some role description which says that he is the one to be responsible for establishing the system, establishing internal audits, report to the top management, and promote efficiency-related awareness throughout the organization, something like this. At least once a year, there should be a report of the terminal efficiency manager for internal audits, for claims, non-conformities, for the development of the container terminal quality indicators. This means the benchmark. If you are at 70, you might aim to go to 75. What are the measures? You could suggest something. You could suggest opportunities for improvement of the efficiency. The container terminal quality indicators, when they are established, offer a comparison of different container terminals across the world. We have the same measurement, the same system. It shows the development of quality over time, so you could go from 60 to 70 to 80 to 90 points over time. You can show to the outside what you are doing, how good you are. And they are calculated within those master tables. And within these master tables you have some kind of easy to use expert system in order to find out very quickly in a day or two maximum where your efficiency is and where your chances are to improve. This is an example of such a master table. For example, the organizational and other aspects needs to be evaluated and performance. The maximum number of points is always 100, so it's the same principle which we have, for example, in the cool chain quality indicator. There also, it's always maximum 100 points, so easy to understand. You have in the master tables various sections. One section describing the topic, which is to be evaluated, or the question to be asked. So this is dealing with ship planning. Is there a ship planning system installed? So this is the question here. The next is describe why this topic is important or how it should be implemented by the organization. And then you get the points as such. So here, for example, you have the crane density. You could, it's only a suggestion from the scratch. You could ask how many cranes per 100 meter K lengths are available. You could have here certain ranges. If it's below 0.5 cranes per 100 meter K lengths, you get 0 points. If you have more than 1.5 cranes per 100 meter, you get 10 points, and something in between. Simply meaning the more cranes you have, the higher is your utilization, the higher is your well, we can discuss it, of course. It's only a proposal. Maybe fully automated terminal is looking in another way to this.
Maybe others too.
Yeah. It's only at the starting point. Container crane control is also one item one could discuss. Does the automated system of container cranes allow to drop or pick up containers at stow position other than specified by storage plan? If no, it's good. If yes, it's not good. As simple as that. Container crane productivity, if you are below 10 moves per hour per crane, you get 0 points. If you are above 35 moves per hour per crane, you might get 12 points, with some points in between. Well, so these are only some samples. You might have these tables for the seaside, for the storage area, and also for the land side, for gate operation, truck handling, rail operation. And then you might have your minimum benchmark points, for example, 60 points seaside, 65 points storage, 55 points land side. Question which we had internally, which we just asked with Gustav, is do we distinguish between different sizes of terminals? Most of is keeping telling us we should have separate benchmarks. Small terminals should be easier to get into the standard than big terminals. Well, we have a dispute about this, which we might put on the table.
We're talking about different types of terminals.
Yeah.
And you say a terminal of excellence. Well, they have a small terminal, mainly for feeder operations, which is a terminal of excellence, but in its own right.
Yeah.
You can't compare that, say, with a very large-scale, high-throughput terminal, automated or non-automated. But it's a totally different proposition.
We should discuss it. Definitely, yes. But I would roughly go through the entire idea to come into the single items. Well, when you are having the container terminal quality conformance, this means all the system elements and the benchmark pass, then you could get a certificate from Germanischer Lloyd. And the certificate shows you how is your entire throughput. This is only an indication, but based on the same formula worldwide. How, for example, your seaside efficiency is 87 of 100 points, how your storage efficiency is 78 from 100 points, how your landside efficiency might be 67 of 100 points. That is only a sample. We could also have an entire other system, but it's only to start the discussion here. And we think it would also be good to have an annex where you can see the key performance indicators, for example, the train connectivity rate, the berth occupancy rate, the equipment demand availability percentage, the storage utilization, the land use BTU, the equipment demand availability. Something like that should be open. If a terminal wants to be certified, it should also open then these figures to the public. Well, so we are sitting here to create a standard, and we simply want you. Well, this is at a first glance the rough idea.
Maybe if we kind of introduce ourselves, Werner, would you just talk about
that's a good idea. So you introduced yourself already?
Yeah, I've done.
Yeah, Steve.
Steve Longbach with Marine Terminals. We operate 8 terminals on the U.S. West Coast from LA, Long Beach, Seattle to Oakland. Any other pertinent factors?
Really well, Ian, I think maybe because I've been working with Steve. Steve has been very much developing I think it's customer technology, right? In other words, connectivity is really your bag.
Right.
Obviously you understand terminal process, etc. You did 12 years in operations before you moved to this part of it. But Steve had a very good understanding of what the shipper is looking for in the hinterland, what the drayage company is looking for, and all that kind of idea. And in a very difficult West Coast market, which I don't think any of us would like to be operating a terminal in, modern terminals MTC basically is driving a very aggressive program to be best in class on the West Coast. So, Will?
Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Boomer Aguilar. I work with Yanten International Terminal in South China, part of the Position for Holding. Basically what I do is I've been moving from the seaside to the operational side in the industry, then to the commercial side, and now into understanding the hinterland, both downstream and upstream. And what I do is I try to identify what element of value-added activities of the terminal within the supply chain, mainly for containers. And we've been doing that for the last 4 years for Yanten. And so I'm looking forward to work with all you guys and see if we can actually run into an easy tool that we can basically use. And just to make a point here regarding to what Kieran has said, I have been going in the last 3 years to a lot of conferences, and unfortunately I find myself in a very difficult situation because maybe I'm the only terminal on the floor where it's full of shippers and 3PLs all saying that the issue why the supply chain is not efficient is because the terminal is a black hole. But I think in the Maritime Industry Council where we debate this quite a lot, what I've been saying is maybe that is true from their perspective. From our perspective, the terminal perspective, the shipper is also a black hole for us. So what we're trying to understand is what the shipper expects from us. And if we don't know that, then it's difficult for us to meet the demand of the market. So that's why we believe in this idea, and we would like to collaborate with the industry to find a solution.
What's the throughput? 9.2 million?
Last year it was, for Yate alone was 8.9, and for the group was 59.8 million.
Okay.
But that also has a lot of, pressure and challenges for us as well. So it's a good and bad news at the same time. It's more good probably on that, but not with our technique.
Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Heinrich Goller. I'm with HHLA in Hamburg. And the last years I'm working on the terminal in Altenwerder on the newest babies in the family. I'm the managing director of that company, of the terminal today. And I also prepare to address this issue you just mentioned, the black hole issue. For my feeling, it's very important if such a procedure is set up to look into the ways terminals can work based on information which is available, or in most of the cases which is not available today and which needs to be available. So this is still a missing link. And so we must look at the black hole from both sides, and we will identify the black holes. But that's a very important thing. We are also working on very hard, but it's a very big black hole. So it's a lot of work to be done there. But I'm happy that maybe we feel it's so fun.
Yeah, thank you.
My name is Andreas Bonder. I'm working for strategic research at Cambridge. And in order for you to understand why I'm here, I would also like to address Kieran's introduction. And the keyword for me and what he said was the collaborative thinking. Because this is what I believe we can contribute from a research side, because I haven't operated terminal recently. But what we can contribute is the analytical part to analyze the processes that you've mentioned so far. That starts with information management, what we have done so far. I'm just naming the keyword RFID, for example. And from that perspective, I think that we can contribute this analytic or analysis part to and which requires this consensus that you also mentioned. That means we cannot develop something without your ideas. That means in one way or another there has to be some consensus on what your motivation is, why you're here. Is it only the black hole? Is it what you mentioned about the consumption of area? Is it about transparency in the sense of giving exact dates of pickup for your cargo? Or, I mean, there's a wide range of things. Some of them even contradictory. So this is where I see my position in this group. That's why I'm here. Yes.
And they very successfully contributed their ideas to the food chain politics,
Yeah.
especially Andreas.
My name is Angelika Rauschnabel. I'm the assistant of Mr. Stempler, and basically that's why I'm here. It's just getting starting with the CGQI and to get the idea and just looking forward to the further development.
Thank you, Angelika. Gustav.
Well, my name is Gustav Moroni, and the advantage of arriving late is that everybody notices you when you come in. I think I'm, particularly want to come back to one element that I see all the time now, emerging when these KPIs are discussed. Everybody's talking about black holes. First of all, I wonder how many of these black holes are on purpose. How much people want to cover up. That's one. And secondly, I think what this exercise should try to do also is to create awareness for all those involved in the chain of the effect that their own actions have on the total chain. And I see, for example, that some large shippers send questionnaires around asking, can you give me 30 days of free storage on your terminal? I think they should realize what that means to the total chain, to the terminal operator in the first place, to the capacity of the terminal operator, and that somebody will have to pay for that. I think as long as these things are not known, they're not quantified, not told, nobody is going to be able to make a decent point about this. So that is a note that I would like to particularly emphasize with this exercise. With respect to the choice of KPIs, okay, I think this is going to be also a hard battle because everybody wants his own KPIs. Let me just add one thing, of a piece of information that may be useful and even important with respect to this morning's meeting. IAPH is looking to start a study of performance indicators. I don't know whether you're aware of that. So they have gone out and, as it happens, the people that they contacted me. So here I'm now, sitting, in a team that is going to try and put something on paper for IAPH. Now, it's going to be very different in that we are going only to propose some rational, logical definitions of what KPIs are, and maybe just give them an indication that you cannot benchmark everything and anything anywhere. Because they think that you can have a benchmark and you go around and now you can decide this is a good one, this is a bad one, this is a good one, this is mediocre, etc. It's not like that. It's not going to be like that. So the paper will be one where we try to put their 2 feet on the ground, basically. But I think it is useful to realize, and important to realize here, that now the port authorities, because after all IAPH are the port authorities, that the port authorities are getting very worried as well about the performance of their terminals. Yeah. And because they have no idea of, are the terminals now doing well or not well, are the conditions that we have put in our concession contracts, are these stringent enough or are they too loose? And they don't know. And it's also a question that comes often to me when I work in World Bank projects, because the World Bank asks me, what should be the condition that we put in? What should the concessionaire be able to achieve? So a few points I think were maybe useful to mention.
Well, we reminded also our press department.
Yes, my name is Steffi Gössling. I work in the press department of the Mannscher Lloyd. And of course we want to promote this new standard in the future and write articles and press releases about it. And that's the reason why I'm here, and I'm looking forward to your discussion.
Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Wolf von der Mosel. I used to work for Stevedore, HHLA, Hamburg, like Heinrich Woller, former colleague of mine. I worked on a conventional terminal, both in operational parts and also in container terminal planning. I also worked with parts of the loop on the cool chain, former time member of HHLA. Now I'm working with Hamburg Port Authority. So we are the landlord of Hamburg Port. 10% of the surface of Hamburg belongs to the port, and we have exactly the interest what Gustav just said. My managing director is member of the IHPH, and of course we have an interest in efficient terminals, and we are building new terminals, and of course we want to have the best consignee, and who is the best consignee, and questions like that. We also have an interest in keeping ties with the industry. My current job is a manager of, or just this department just set up maritime and hinterland logistics, so we are more in connectivity with the customers and with the customer, what you just said. Although Hamburg Port has an own marketing arm, which is both belongs to the Port Authority and the companies within the port, so I'm more focused on the customers of Hamburg Port Authority. Yeah, I'm interested in what's being developed here.
Thank you.
Thanks for the invitation.
Yes.
Yes, my name is Harry Morms. I'm now for 40 years in the industry, shipping and containers and whatever. So I think I've gone back quite some time in the industry, seeing the containers to be developed. If I'm coming to the subject, I think I'm talking here for the Eurogate group. Obviously, might be a little misunderstanding that I'm giving you a business card of